Alright, in this example we want to graph f of x equals 3 times the secant of the quantity 2 of the, times x minus pi over 4. So the first thing you have to graph, which I have already graphed, is y, or f of x equals 3 cosine, because those are reciprocal functions, 2 times the quantity x minus pi over 4. So you're going to graph that, and you're going to graph that just like you did in the lesson a couple lessons ago when we graphed translated cosine functions. And you might recognize this. This was an example that we graphed back in section 2.1 and 2.2, but we called it a sine. Here I've called it a cosine because I translated it pi over 4 to the right. So you're just going to follow the process of doing that and get that one graphed just like you did, like I said, in the other section. Now when we want to graph the secant, well, to graph the secant, you first need to make your asymptotes, and your asymptotes are going to occur where you have x-intercepts. So I'm just going to sketch them in, and again, when it's on the y-axis, I just put it next to it so I can see it. There we go. So we do know that the reciprocal function has the sine and secant, the cosine and the secant equal at those maximum and minimums. So I'm just going to sketch those in. And this has an amplitude of 3, so it's displayed right here in the height, and because the maximum moved up, you can see how this is a steeper curve here. So when I graph the secant, I'm just going to likewise make that steeper too. I'm just going to try and mirror image the piece below it. So I'm just going to sketch these in like such. There's one of them. There's the other one. Okay. So when you're all done, what you need to do is the function right here. It's nice and close, so I'm just going to indicate that that is the function. Oops, I got the wrong one there. Let me get rid of that. Here it is, at the secant. Good. And then in another location, I can just take the guide function right here and say that that's y equals 3 times the cosine 2x minus pi over 4. You could even just call it guide function. That's fine, as long as you understand that it is the reciprocal function. Alright, and then to graph this on the calculator, as a check, you can graph this. So remember, this is like 3 times all of that, that's multiplied. So you're going to have 3 in the numerator, and then you're going to have the reciprocal part down here. So cosine 2x minus pi over 4. Don't forget all those parentheses when you graph that. And then of course you'll make a window, appropriate window. And the key when you're doing secants and cosecants is to have your y window quite large. So you can really see what's going on with the branches of the secant and the cosecant. Alright, so that's graphing the secant using the cosine as its guide function.